நீ இல்லாத நாளெல்லாம் நாளாகுமா? நீ இல்லாத வாழ்வெல்லாம் வாழ்வாகுமா?
Book of Exodus chapter 3 verses 7 to 8. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. The Lord said this to Moses. He assembled the sheep he was tending far aside and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. Since he was roaming with sheep for 40 years, he has lost all the skills he had acquired before. He was no longer a mighty and skilled man. He lost his identity. He was a man who forgot who he was. At this point, God spoke to Moses. God knew that Moses was the one who would execute his plan and desire, and he spoke to Moses about that. The Lord told him, I have certainly seen the oppression of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cries of distress because of their harsh slave drivers. Yes, I am aware of their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the power of the Egyptians and led them out of Egypt into their own fertile and spacious land. It is a land flowing with milk and honey. Now go, for I am sending you to Pharaoh. You must lead my people Israel out of Egypt. But when Moses heard this, he gave so many excuses to avoid God's call. Because Moses killed a person, ran away from Egypt, and hid in the desert for 40 years, he was afraid he would be killed the moment he stepped into Egypt. Also, he knew about Pharaoh and told God that he wouldn't release the people. So with all this reasoning in mind, he gave a lot of excuses to God. He was focused only on his disabilities. Instead of realizing how mighty and powerful the Lord who sent him for this ministry is, Moses only focused on his weakness. I cannot do this. It's impossible for me to do such things. His mind was filled with I and not God. Dear people of God, most of the time, the reason for our failure is our focus on our weaknesses. If we limit ourselves based on our weaknesses, we will never rise. If we look at our situation or our family situation, it's very difficult to believe and have faith. If we fix our eyes on ourselves, we cannot win anything, but instead, amidst all our weaknesses, look unto God. He can do mighty things. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! God bless you.